What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Tompa Bay. We are moving on at 4-1, week number 6 coming up, and we have ourselves a pretty good test upcoming. We got the St. Louis Rams, a 4-1 team. They may have dropped Torrey Holt like a bad habit, but they are having a good season this season. So let's send it to the studio, check out SportsCenter from last week, and we'll check in after that is over.
I'm Chris Berman. Well, let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Jaguars stroll away with a 14-point win. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Cardinals pick up win number 2. Ricky Williams get another good performance in the win and showed us why he's ranked up at the top of the league. Kurt Warner threw for over 200 yards and helped his Giants beat the Cowboys. Deep in Cajun country in New Orleans, we had the Saints lose by 6 points. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Ray Lewis will be on the sidelines for a while, so this defense will need to do some reshuffling in his absence. Knee tendonitis is the report. He'll be out for 6 weeks. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Matt Burke won't see action for a while, so this offense is going to have to make do without him. The team's injury report listed a broken wrist and that he's out for 5 weeks. Now the big story of the day. Deuce McAllister is going to find himself in street clothes for the time being, and that'll be a major blow to this club. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you. We'll shift gears now just a little and have a look at a few trades that should certainly be of interest. Brad Johnson leaves the Buccaneers and is on his way to the Patriots. He'll take with him a couple of draft picks as well, a first-round pick and a future first-round pick. So here's a guy that's got a pretty big challenge ahead of him as he'll look to bring a little energy and know-how to that offensive unit. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Tom Brady is a guy they're hoping can step in and really lead this club. Only time will tell if the bet pays off.
Lions, Falcons. Peerless Price is always a guy to look for when you're at the 10-yard line, as they are right now. Here's the snap, the lob, touchdown! The Falcons go on to win this by the final score of 42-17. Down in Reliant Stadium, we had the Texans edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. The Jets got 300-plus yards from their offense in their victory at Giant Stadium. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Sam Madison will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 4 years, $11.9 million, plus a $1.1 million signing bonus. Marvin Jones is on the move as well as he signs a 3-year contract with the Bills. Jason Gilden will have a new place to call home as he accepts a new contract. 6 years, $22.7 million. On top of that, a $2.2 million signing bonus. Jeremiah Trotter will also have a new address for a while as he signs a 4-year contract with the 49ers.
The Rams won on the road and will now head home to meet the Buccaneers. Mike McKenzie had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Panthers, Broncos. Willie Middlebrooks is so dangerous, he looks in the eyes of the quarterback. Look at that perfectly. It's an overthrow. And he's got it to the 15, the 10, the 5, 6 points. The Broncos win this one by the final score of 38-24. Marcus Pollard pulled down 100-plus receiving yards and helped his Colts beat the Raiders. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Browns pick up their 3rd win of the season. And in our final game, we had the Ravens come away victorious. So that'll just about do it. But before we go, I'm going to toss out a few game balls to my prime-time players. Each and every one of these men had a week to remember. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
All right, so after we checked out what last week did for us and the rest of the league, we are back to our injury report. Keenan McCardell, technically our number one receiver, out for 4 more weeks with that pulled calf muscle. Now on to the St. Louis Rams, who, like we said, are having a good season. Mark Bulger under center, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Behind him, the vet, Marshall Faulk out of San Diego State in his 11th year. He's got 400 yards and 3 touchdowns so far on the ground this year. I made that up. Torrey Holt's still on this team. He's a 100 overall. I got confused with the Steelers franchise. Anyway, I'm not going to start this over because I am too lazy. Anyway, Orlando Pace is going to anchor this pretty talented St. Louis line. He's got a 95-92 pass to run blocking. Flipping over to the other side, we've got Leonard Little on the defensive end spot. He's got 13 tackles and 3 sacks to his name, which feels like he's maybe underperforming this year compared to those sack numbers from previous seasons. The other elite member of this Rams defense is Aeneas Williams out of Southern. He's in his 14th season. He's got 22 tackles, and that's it to his name so far. And then at kicker, Jeff Wilkins out of Youngstown State in his 11th year. It looks like he's perfect from the field so far. He's a 90 overall in the kicker position. Now we've got a couple of injuries. Pino over there is definitely going to play, but Dewan Gross is out for 2 more weeks with a broken ankle. So we have what is probably our biggest test since we played the Oakland Raiders, although we definitely match up better against them than I would think. So let's send it to Boomer, set ourselves up for this game.
Aloha, I'm Chris Berman, and coming up on ESPN, not only is Isaac your bartender, he's your go-to guy at wide receiver, Isaac Bruce. Just 19 yards shy of what would have been his 7,000-yard season last year. He'll be a big factor today. Tampa Bay, St. Louis, now.
All right, hello and good evening. Welcome back to Edward Jones Dome. I guess technically this is the first time we played at the Edward Jones Dome, but we are under the dome. That means no rain in this game, and we've got a couple of really good linebackers between Tommy Polley and Derek Brooks getting the nod in the pregame show. But we're going to go ahead and kick this one off. We did not win the coin toss. The Rams elect to receive, and Grammatica is going to send this one down the field for Steven Jackson, the backup running back, probably an overqualified kick returner, but he definitely is dangerous if he can get into some open field. The Rams taking over from their own 30, Bulger dropping back, finding good speed, the fullback over the middle, quick little reception, 9-yard gain. They go on the ground for the next play. Marshall Faulk has some space and then some, breaks away from a tackle, is chased down by, I believe, our defensive tackle, Russell, doing a good job of following the play and sticking with it. Bulger throws over to his right and immediately just throws a little pitch and catch to Victor Green, continuing to be one of the best free agent signings that we have made this season. Victor Green takes his 3rd interception. I mean, like, he might as well have just been a receiver there. Our strong safety gets way in front of that one. He was kind of in front of it from the moment that it was thrown. And the Buccaneers, Tompa, is going to take over from about midfield. Brady immediately finds Dilger, who tries to get really fancy with the one-handed grab. He drops it on contact. Garner takes a little run there, manages to work through some contact for a 6-yard gain. We go with the shovel pass, and that manages to almost get us the first down. It does require the chains to come out, but I can usually tell right away with this animation, and we are indeed going to get the first down on the shovel pass connecting from Tom Brady to Charlie Gardner. Technically, that's a run by the game or a pass by the game standard. So first pass complete by Tom. Second pass also complete by Tom, finding Charles Lee cutting over the middle. He's going to extend out for the first down. 2 plays, 2 first downs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Charlie Gardner getting the carry on first down, only getting about 2 yards. Good play by the defense there. Quick little hitch route there to Michael Clayton. The defense really bites on it, dives away, gives him some room to run. That's going to be another first down for Tampa Bay. And then a dangerous pass to the flat. It goes to Mike Allstott, who throws his stiff arm, makes it pretty much right on the line. It's going to be a 1st and goal from the 2-yard line for the Tompa Bay Buccaneers. I keep saying Tompa Bay Buccaneers. We float one to the end zone for Joey Galloway. He works through the pass interference, and that is going to be a touchdown for Tom Brady and the Tompa Bay Buccaneers. We decline the penalty, and we take the 6 points. The extra point is up and good from Martin Gramatica, and Tom Brady strikes first here in St. Louis with an 8-play, 51 drive, making mincemeat out of this St. Louis defense, if I'm being totally honest. So what feels kind of like deja vu, we're kicking this one right back off to the St. Louis Rams. And Steven Jackson gets it back out pretty much to the 25. First play of the drive, we got a run over to the right for Marshall Faulk, and Derek Brooks. Look at that man streak across the field. That's a great tackle for just a gain of 1. That looks like a dangerous play for a moment. Floating it over the middle is Bulger for his fullback. Goodspeed couldn't hold on to it that time. We've got a 3rd down situation, rolling out to his right and met with a sack from Kenny Holmes. Kenny Holmes breaking out to the right side, pretty much just rolls straight into the defensive end, and that's going to be one of his first sacks of the season. Our free agent signing has not performed as well in the beginning of the season, but is starting to come on as we enter closer to the middle stretch of this first season. Brady dropping back, throwing to the left side. It's going to fall incomplete on the contact, but the refs decide that that was a little bit too much emphatic contact, and that's going to go ahead and be another pass interference in our favor. That brings us up to a 1st and 10, pretty much right at midfield. Tom handing it off to Mike Allstott on the counter. He breaks out of the first and is able to be brought down for the second. Peanut time. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you as always for your support. Tom dropping back, longer drop back this time, floats it over to the right side to Dan Moore. We love us some Dan Moore. Another pass interference call on the St. Louis defense, who is truly struggling to contain Tom Brady and this Tampa Bay passing offense. So a 3rd pass interference so far, another one that we got to decline because we were just really good at catching the ball. Garner tries to scoot to the outside, is met by Tinosonoa, and he gets just no gain on that one. Allstott with the pass to the flat, manages only 3 yards, so it's a 3rd and 7 situation. Tom Brady staying cool under pressure, and he finds Moore all alone. They must have sent a cover 0 blitz. Someone forgot their assignment on Dan Moore, and Tom hits his favorite target in the end zone once again. You can see right there, it looks like, honestly, I don't know what Adam Archuleta was doing there. He dropped under to try and, I guess, cover Michael Clayton, leaving Dan Moore all alone, and that's going to be an easy touchdown pass for Tom Brady. So once again, deja vu, another 5-play, 60-yard drive. And before the first quarter has even ended, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have blown it open by a score of 14-0. Not a great kick, which gives Steven Jackson an opportunity to get a good return. That's going to bring the Rams all the way up to the 39-yard line. Let's see if they can do anything with it here. Bulger throwing over to the left side and just almost immediately throws it right back. Bulger is not having a good game here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers early, and right as I say that, he connects with his 100 overall rated receiver, Torrey Holt. It's going to be a 1st down and then some, about a 20-ish yard gain, and that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. So it's been all Tampa Bay so far, score 14-0, but the Rams are driving here in the beginning of the second quarter. Marshall Faulk gets the ball, and he goes nowhere. Derek Brooks has been on every single play that he absolutely can so far in this game. Reception made over on the right side. I believe that was Isaac Bruce on the quick slant, and that's going to go for 7 yards. But once again, Faulk and Brooks meet, and Brooks is the winner. That's going to lead to a field goal, and the seemingly perfect Wilkins finally misses a field goal. He sails that one wide to the right. It should have been one that he made, especially with his rating, but the Rams continue to struggle against this Tampa Bay defense. As we talked about, Tampa Bay avoiding the rush, dropping to his left, hitting a 6 strike to Michael Clayton streaking over the middle, and that's going to be a brilliant play for 20-something yards up the middle. Mike Allstott also going up the middle, rumbles for about 6 yards on 1st down. We hand it off again. Gardner not getting good protection on that one. He's going to go back a yard, so that's going to force us to throw on 3rd down. We flip it to the left side. dangerous throw to Michael Clayton. The defender made a play on it, but he did not make a good enough play on it. So we're going to get another first down opportunity. Mike Allstott can't break Adam Archuleta's tackle. It's going to be another loss and a good stop from the St. Louis Rams. But when you have Tom Brady in one-on-one coverage, sometimes you make a good play. Butler makes a good play on that, forces the incompletion, saves the touchdown. But on the very next play, we find Charles Lee, who has really stepped up into that third receiver spot. Charles Lee really proving that he's got some stuff left in the tank. Brady rolling out, looking, sees the gap in front of him, and he's going to waltz this one right into the end zone. And with just under 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter, Tampa Bay has really started to blow the doors off of this St. Louis Rams team. It is now 21-0 post extra point by Grammatica, and we're not even at halftime yet. So this is a bona fide blowout on our hands so far. What was going to be hyped up as a big match against two teams at the top of the NFL has made it truly look like one team is a contender and one team is potentially a pretender, as Harris makes a good return there, brings the Rams all the way up to the 34. But that's kind of been the story of the game so far, as Bulger, under pressure, panics, throws to not his receiver, but Derek Brooks, our best defender, does a little showboating, gets tackled by Mark Bulger, but he tackles him straight into the end zone. So one play, one pick, 6 more points, and this one is officially out of hand before the half is even over. Bulger may have been better off just taking the sack and losing a yard or two, but instead he throws that one straight into the gut of Derek Brooks, who lets him know it and goes into the end zone for another touchdown. So now that's a 28-0 lead, and spoilers, we're not going to be watching the rest of this game because we absolutely beat the living brakes off of the St. Louis Rams. We are, however, going to take it into halftime just in case any other action happens. Jackson continues to pretty much return it to the 25 on average, but the Rams have not been able to do anything. Torrey Holt does make a nice catch here, one-handed grab, moving the chains for a first down. Bulger throwing left again, a dangerous deflection bouncing off of the helmet on Sheldon Quarles, landing incomplete. That's going to bring up a second down pass. Second down pass is caught and hauled in by Isaac Bruce. The receivers of the Rams starting to show up just a little bit as we wind down towards the 2-minute warning. Once again, slinging it over to the left side. That's going to be Torrey Holt making the reception. Now, the offense here has a little bit of trouble in man coverage, although Rondé Barber is a pretty talented cornerback, as that pass is caught out of bounds for no gain. It is technically ruled an incompletion. We find Torrey Holt here, who manages to walk out of one tackle, but then Kenny Holmes is able to clean it up from that defensive end spot, and then Simeon Rice does exactly what we pay the man to do, and he gets a sack. This time Wilkins is going to step up, and he's going to make the field goal. So good job by Wilkins, putting the Rams on the board despite, being down by a casual 25 points. The guys with their chests painted have something to celebrate, I suppose. So we're going to take the ball back with about a minute and a half left in the half. We're going to go ahead and run this one out of the end zone. Maybe not going to get quite the returns that Steven Jackson is getting, but we get all the way back out to the 20. So because Tom Brady is an absolute maniac, we were thinking maybe another touchdown, but Tom is sacked for a fumble, and we're just going to call it right there. We run the ball out, we run the half out, and we go into the locker room counting our blessings and up by a score of 28-3. So you can see here it has been pure domination by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've got 174 pass yards. We've only got 32 rush yards, but we've doubled up on their rushing count, and we've doubled up on their offensive count in general. Tom Brady having a fantastic game, 12 for 15, 174 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground, 1 touchdown through the air. So 28-3 when this half starts. There's probably only like a few minutes left of highlights at this point. I just wanted to show you all the good stuff, but I did also want to show you that we have been pretty much perfect on the offensive side of the ball. 3 touchdowns, 1 time expiration. I guess we could have gone for it if we really wanted to, but we just pick right back up where we left off. Mike Allstott putting his shoulder through a couple guys, getting the first down. Charlie Gardner working through a couple tackles, fielding the face mask by what seems to be a very frustrated Aeneas Williams, who it seems to be one of the only guys who showed up for his team today, but that's going to be a first down, moving the chains and then some. Tom almost took a sack there, but manages to find Mike Allstott, who was knocked out of bounds. That's going to be a first down and then some for the Tompa Bay Buccaneers. We hand it off to Allstott on the very next play, who is met by a couple of Rams defenders, so we're going to slide backwards 3 yards on that one. We go back to the draw. Charlie Gardner breaking out of 1 tackle, avoiding a couple of other guys. Got a block there. Manages to get 6 of those yards back. Brady dropping back to pass, hitting Juravicious over the middle. That might have been one of Juravicious' first receptions of the season, so great job by our guy Juravicious. Allstott up the middle for just 1 yard. That's going to bring down a second down and 9 as we wind towards the end of the third quarter. Charlie Gardner getting a couple of good blocks, able to take that toss to the outside for 5 yards. Once again, we need Brady to work a little magic, and he finds Joey Galloway on the right side. He decides to keep it in bounds so the clock can continue to run, and that gives Allstott some room to run. He throws the stiff arm. He is met by Aeneas Williams. That is now a 2nd and 2. That gives Charlie Gardner an opportunity to at least get over the first down line for a 1st and goal, but he is not able to cross over that first down line. So that brings us to a 3rd and inches. We put it in our guy Mike Allstott's hands, who avoids the tackle, hits the end zone, and that is yet another touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This time we decide to put it on the ground. We let Mike Allstott do his thing. You can see his knees go down and the ball goes down over the plane of the end zone, so no challenge coming from the St. Louis Rams. That's a bigger drive, 12 plays for 68 yards. We also took a huge chunk of time off of the clock, so it is, ladies and gentlemen, it is all but over. We have officially blown out the St. Louis Rams on their home turf. We have made an announcement to the league that Tompa Bay is here to stay. We don't care if you are 4-1 or 1-4. We're going to roll up and try to beat the brakes off of you no matter what. Marshall Falk gets a good run on first down, but gets tackled by Ian Gold on second down. They go to the run again, and Sheldon Quarles is there to stop them, so we managed to hold them here. I'm honestly a little surprised that they didn't go for it, but we are able to force them into a 3-and-out thanks to 3 brilliant tackles by our defense. Jones is able to bring that punt back to about the 30, and we head into the 4th stanza up by a score of 35-3. Absolute domination here by this Tampa Bay offense. Allstott keeps it going with a run for 7 yards, and at this point, it's kind of a run party. Charlie Gardner manages to break out of a tackle, runs forward for that first down, and now we are officially letting the backups have some run. Pittman is going to get a carry there for no yards. We try Pittman again. He's met quickly by Adam Archuleta. That's a 1-yard gain. Tom is still on the field, and he's still slinging. He throws to Pittman this time on the flat, who manages the stiff arm, gets knocked out of bounds with the first down in his pocket. Look at those blocks. Just look at those blocks. Look at the hole that just opened up for Pittman off a tackle. That's going to be an about 11-yard run, moving the chains once again for our guy. We let Camella have a run there. That's going to be about a 4-yard gain. Michael Pittman coming back, stretching out. It's going to be a 3rd and 1 as we wind down to 3 minutes left in this game, and Camella is going to get hit in the backfield for a loss of 1. That gives Gramatica an opportunity to put a field goal on the board instead of just some extra points. So we managed to take 6 minutes off of the clock. We're going to zoom way forward to about a 3rd and 10, where Mark Bulger rolls back, and he does exactly what he did last time, which is pretty much just play pitch and catch with the strong safety. This time it's our backup safety, Will Allen, who is in there for garbage time. We put all of our backups in for this play, and Will Allen says, thank you very much, I will take that. It looks like he actually stole an interception from somebody, but, we're not going to hate on it. Brian Gracie comes in to kneel the game out, and kneel the game out he does. A giant, big, huge blowout here in St. Louis, where the Tompa Bay Buccaneers take care of business and then some, winning this one emphatically by a score of 38-3. As you can see, the tail of the stats were really no different from the first half. We crushed them on offense. We crushed them in time of possession. We had no turnovers. They had 3 turnovers. It's what you love to see. We also love to see player of the game, Tom Brady, who had just a brilliant game from start to finish. I believe he finished 16 for 19, so he ended up never missing a pass. He only threw 4 more passes in the second half, made all of them. 226 yards, technically just 1 touchdown throwing, but he also had the 1 touchdown on the ground. Going to look at the rest of the game, Tom had himself a day. Like, as we said, 151.3 passer rating, 16 for 19, 84% accuracy, 226 yards. I'm sorry, he did have that second touchdown to Dan Moore. So he had 2 touchdowns through the air and that 1 touchdown on the ground. Mike Allstott and Charlie Gardner did a great job of running the ball, 41 and 34 yards apiece. It was Mike Allstott who got a touchdown plus Tom Brady on that scramble for 1 yard to get into the end zone. Receiving-wise, Torrey Holt was actually the high receiver of the day. Michael Clayton right behind him. We really didn't need the receivers that much, but it was Dan Moore who was in the end zone for that 29-yard touchdown reception. Our highest tackler of the day was Derek Brooks. Once again, we ran the ball a lot towards the end of the day, so we're not going to have a ton by the way of tackles on days like that. Aeneas Williams had 10 tackles to his name, leading the way for all defenders. Kenny Holmes and Simeon Rice, great job by our defensive ends, getting on the board with a couple of sacks. There were a few passes defended, not a ton, pretty clean passing today, and of course, a few interceptions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will Allen, Derek Brooks with the pick 6, and also Victor Green getting his 3rd interception of the season. So we're 5-1. We're moving on to the Chicago Bears next week, a little cross-division game in the NFC, and we'll look forward to that one. So if you're still here and you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like. That helps other people see and find my content. Leave a comment about how you're liking Tampa Bay so far, and of course, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We are inching ever closer to 500 subscribers. Very excited to get there, hopefully by the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching regardless, and for Peanuts 24/7, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.